Hi friends, it's Cindy Lyon, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am back to test out the new updated instructions for our paper pumpkin kits. I have got the May Batter Up paper pumpkin kit here, and the way the instructions have been changed is that everything is in color now, and it's all pictorial instructions. So let's give them a try here. It looks like card number 1. We are going to need the die cut that looks like a little baseball card. And then it's showing 5 little hexagons on the back of there. So I'm assuming that those are our hexagon Stampin' Dimensionals. So let me dig those out of the box here. It looks like I left them down in the bottom. Yep, there we go. Here's our Stampin' Dimensionals, so I'll go ahead and put 5 of those on here. And then it goes on this card base. So peel the backing off of those. And adhere this more or less centered on our card front. And then it's showing step 2. We're going to stamp on one of our little white die cuts. So we need one of these. And then in the instructions here, they have stamped the word grandpa. But because I'm an old lady, I don't have a grandpa or a dad around anymore. So you know what? I am going to choose the word friend and stamp that instead. So let me peel that off of the plastic sheet here. And I'll mount that on my block. Whoops, if I get it to not stick to my fingers. There we go. And then I'm going to open up my little Night of Navy stamping spot. And what I like to do with the spots, which is a little bit different, when I use the full-size ink pads, I'll take my stamp and tap it on the ink pad. But when I'm using the little spots, I usually do it the other way around. I'll leave the stamp face up and dot the little Stampin' Spot on there until that's fully inked. And then grab that little die cut piece and stamp friend on there. And hopefully I won't stick my head in the way when I lean over here to make sure that I've got it straight. Just press that, and there's that. Okay, and then it's showing me on the back of there, I'm going to put a dimensional on one side, and then I'm going to put a little glue dot on the other side. And the reason for that is that when I stick this on here, part of it is going to be on top of the piece that's already raised. So that side just needs a flat glue dot, but this side needs a dimensional on it to raise it up to the same level as the piece we already put on. So let me do that. And we'll put the dimensional right here on this side. And then again, let me find my glue dots in the bottom of the box here. And I will tell you a little trick that I use is I take my scissors, which are not included in your kit. That's a separate tool, but I take my scissors and use them to scoop those little glue dots off the backing. And oh, one more thing before I stick that down, I also need to cut a piece of string at 4.5 inches or 11.4 centimeters if you're using metric measurements. But so let me get my string. and find the end of it here. And then I'm going to use the measurements along the bottom of my grid paper here to measure that out. Or let's see, do they have, yes, they do have a ruler along the side of the printed instructions here, so I can do that. And then again, the scissors are the one tool that are not included in the kit, but I think everybody has a pair of scissors sitting around the house somewhere. So I'm going to take this, and I'm not actually going to tie it because tying it would make it lumpy. I'm just going to twist it around. And then I'm going to put another one of those little glue dots on here. And another way that that can be done is I can pull that off with my thumbnail and just stick that little dot in the middle there. And then if I can get the backing off, and I can't see what I'm doing because I'm wearing new glasses that I'm not used to yet. Okay, and so that is going to then stick in the middle of this little piece. So it sticks out on either side. And then peel the backing off of the two pieces of adhesive that we already applied. And then that gets adhered right here. So that's card number 1 done. Does that look more or less like the instructions there? Oh, actually, I'm not done. I almost forgot our extra little embellishments here. It's showing us that we're going to use 1 red one and 2 yellow ones. And it looks like they've got a yellow one over here and then a yellow one and a red one. So let me open these up. I'm going to put those on. And again, I'm going to use the tip of my scissors to help me lift and place those. So what are we doing? We're putting a red one over here and a yellow one down here and another yellow one over here. So now that first card is done. So there's 1 card done. And again, there are enough supplies in there to make 3 of this one. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next card now. So the next one, card number 2, it looks like we need to get our die cut sheet here. And we are going to punch out this red piece. And then we need 2 of these baseball bats. Okay, and then we are going to put some of the little adhesive dots on the back of these. And again, I'm going to use the tip of my scissors to help me with that. And 2 of those on each of these bats. Okay, so we've got those ready. And then we're going to use the striped background for this card. So that would be this card base here, and that's pre-scored. I am going to use my bone folder to give that a really good crease. Of course, if you don't have a bone folder, you can just do it with your thumbnail or with a butter knife. That works too. Okay. And then looking back at my instructions here, it looks like I'm going to want to put that red strip a little bit above center and then cross the baseball bats over the top of it. So let's pick the backing off of the glue dots. Like I said, I'll stick that on here a little bit above center. Oops, I didn't get that backing up. There we go. Okay, so that's step one. And then step two, it's showing that they've used the word sun on this stamp. And you know what? Since I do have a sun, I can use that one this time. So I'll peel off the friend stamp and switch to the sun. And let's see. There it is. And that's going to be stamped on the baseball die cut. And then it looks like I also need this all-star die cut for this card. So, okay, we'll ink up the sun. Make sure we have that fully inked there. And stamp that towards the bottom of our baseball. And then we are going to use 3 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this. And a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this piece. So move that over a little bit there. So we have equal amounts of the red showing on both sides. There, that looks better. And then we're going to put a bunch of these on there. It looks like in the instruction sheet, if we're going to copy that exactly, we're going to do 2 yellows, 1 here and 1 here, and then 3 reds with 1 at the bottom and 2 at the top. So I'm going to start with the red ones since they're in closer. Do a red one over here, and then a yellow one over here. And then we're going to do a couple red ones up in this area. And 1 yellow one up here. And there's our second card done. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Card number 3, we're going to have our wood grain look card base. So I'll go ahead and fold and crease that one. And then we are going to take our striped piece out of the die cuts here. And we're also going to need this base here too. Okay, so it looks like our first step is going to be to put some dimensionals on the back of this. And for whatever reason, they're showing us 2 of these in the middle here instead of just 1. So we'll follow the directions exactly. Don't have a thumbnail left there, so I'm a little trouble picking that off. Okay, and then we're going to eyeball this and try to get it more or less straight and centered. And then it says we need a 12-inch piece of the twine. So measure that out here. And then again, I'm not actually going to tie that because I don't want to have a big lump in the middle. Just going to kind of loop that around there with it a little bit longer there. There, that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to glue that down right in the middle here. You see all those little backing pieces all over. And you just stick that down into that little adhesive dot. Okay, and then the next step okay, it looks like we are stamping with the You're the Best stamp. And you know what? This time I think I'm going to use the word friend again. Put the sun back on our little sheet here so it doesn't get lost. And okay, we'll follow the instructions and I'll do those separately. They could actually be mounted all at the same time. Which actually, you know what? I am going to mount them all at the same time. So just line that up there like that. And then again, take my Stampin' Spot and just dab the ink on here until everything is nice and evenly inked. Now, sometimes you might find with these photopolymer stamps, when they have a larger surface area, they might not want to take the ink real well. You can see how that looks like it's kind of beading up a little bit. Then what you can do is you can kind of condition it by inking it up and stamping off. You can see how it's taking the ink a little better now. But I'm gonna do that one more time. Stamp it off on my scrap paper. And see how you get a little better impression this time than the first one. And so now I'll do it again and we'll do it for real this time. Just keep dabbing that on there and make sure everything's all nice and inked up. Okay. So there we go. You're the best friend. Set that aside. Oops, we'll close up that little ink pad. Okay, and then we're going to use dimensionals again. Just going to pop one in each corner here. Tell you, I love Stampin' Dimensionals. I use them all the time. But then I also have all these little backing pieces I always have to clean up and throw away. But, okay, so now we're going to go ahead and adhere that over the top of our little bow there. And then we're going to add some more of these guys. And again, I didn't point that out on the other cards, but you notice how we're using odd numbers of those embellishments, because for some reason the eye is more drawn to odd numbers. So that's what we're doing there. So we have 5 on this one, 3 on this one, and we're going to put 5 on this one. So we're going to do 1 yellow one and 1 red one down here on this side. And then we're going to do a yellow one and a couple of red ones up here. So there's our third card done. So what do you think? Think that's something that you could do easily enough? Follow those printed instructions and make card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. And again, we have enough supplies here to go ahead and make a total of 9 cards. And we do have the coordinating envelopes here for these too. So that is how that works. And then my next thing is I will play around and come up with some alternative designs for you. So usually what I like to do is I will create some alternative designs that only use the supplies that came in the box. So for those of you that are just starting out, Paper Pumpkin subscribers that only have those items that came in your kit, I'll show you some alternative designs for that. And then for more experienced crafters that do have a little bit of a stash on hand, I'll also create some alternative designs with some additional cardstock and embellishments. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, this is Cindy Lyon. And if you are interested in learning more about Paper Pumpkin, you can visit my website at cindylyon.stampinup.net, and then under the shopping tab, click on Kits-Paper Pumpkin to find out more about Paper Pumpkin, or shoot me a message if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. But again, thanks for joining me. We'll see you later. Bye.